All right. Hey, everyone. I'm here with Stefan Andjelovic. That's wrong. How do you
Perfect.
say it? Is that right?
It's all good, Jennifer. It's all good. Perfect.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Stefan is actually a real estate agent and broker in the Netherlands, which is exciting. And we wanted to bring him on to talk a little bit about how he's his success and how he's been able to be so successful and what he's doing to help other agents be successful too. So, Stefan, can you tell us, well, first of all, just in case people don't know where the Netherlands is,
Yes.
tell us
Good
where it
question.
is.
Good question. Well, first and foremost, I want to say, Jennifer, thanks so much for having me and having this
Yeah,
short chat. Also for some other people, basically to see what we've been doing in the Netherlands.
yeah.
Netherlands is a small country with a population of, I think, 17 million people, next to
The whole
Germany.
country, huh?
A whole country next to Germany, next to Belgium. Now, if that doesn't say anything, it's kind of more on the western side of Europe,
Nice.
next to the UK and everything else.
And it's
Uh,
beautiful. I've been there
so
twice. I love it there. I've
awesome,
been to
perfect.
Amsterdam
Love to hear
twice.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've been used to seeing so much of the Netherlands that I get kind of tired of it. So I'm looking forward to getting into the States and everything else, and seeing how it is over there basically. But
Yeah.
that's just a small country basically. And do you want me to do kind of an introduction for the people looking
Yeah,
on?
that would be great.
Awesome, perfect. So Stefan Andjelovic. I don't want to
Andjelovic.
get too deep into the name, but it's Eastern European basically. My parents came over into the Netherlands basically when they were 20, 21 years old. I'm now 23, 24, almost 24 years old. I've been in the real estate space for around 4 to 5 years. Always been intrigued by different things and always looked at $1 million listings basically.
Oh
Kind of the
no.
show basically.
Don't
Always looked
watch
at it.
that show, Stefan.
I know, but when I was a kid, we always had it on. So I was always looking at that, looking at different properties and what people were doing.
Yeah.
And then from there on out, I started my leeway into getting into contact with agents, seeing what they were doing first and foremost here in the Netherlands. And then from
Hmm.
there on out, since kind of a year and a half, kind of made the transition into also talking with US based agents, brokers as well. And kind of got into the market of basically seeing the business as it is and thinking to myself, it could be, optimized a hell of a lot, basically, just to put it
Yeah,
that way.
right.
Because I think to myself, agents are doing so many things, especially here. We are running behind in the Netherlands for around 5 to 10 years
Oh
for
wow.
what is in
That's
the
a
in the
lot of
US.
different
Yeah.
countries though. I mean,
Hmm.
it is interesting to see how other countries around the world run real estate, but a lot of them don't even have like the multiple listing service. Like, do you guys have that?
Um, Not really. It's kind of it's completely different. So the market
Yeah.
here is basically, you kind of have the same things as in the Netherlands, but I would say honestly, the everything that the agents have in the US is, like I said, 5 years ahead of the things that they
Yeah.
have here.
Got it.
And that's I've kind of noticed that also in Germany and in Belgium as well. But kind
Hmm.
of here, I've kind of taken the market and created first and foremost, a digital agency. That was kind of my focus for a long time. And
Okay.
then made that in one of the top agencies basically here in the Netherlands. We've worked with
Oh,
over
great.
30 different teams and individuals here, getting them, acclimated basically to the digital space, because now with the COVID situation, everything that has
Yeah.
happened, people are working from home, doing
Right.
transactions online. And that
Yeah.
was kind of a hard switch to make for a lot of people.
It was pretty, it took a few
Yeah.
months for a couple of people for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's kind of the transition that we started off with, and I already saw it coming like 3, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Then we made a transition, and then from there on, I thought to myself, all right, so we're doing this in the Netherlands, but there's a lot of room for us to go ahead and see what the possibilities are up in the States.
Yeah.
And then from there, and I've got to know the market over there, basically, see what kind of companies are doing. There's a lot of people doing things. Not to say that they're doing a good job, because with the time that we have done in the States, we've also worked with a dozen of different agents and brokers also.
Hmm.
Gotten them tremendous results as well, saving them a lot of time so they can spend more
How
time
are
with
you
their.
getting them results? Like, what are you doing exactly?
Good question. So how I call it, Jennifer, is basically a full client acquisition system.
Okay.
So it's not like just that where you sign up with Zillow, Trulia.com, or Realtor.com and just get a bunch of leads where you compete with different agents and everything else. It's a
Hmm.
full-on system using social media as the main platform to generate leads, because that's usually the lowest cost of leads, what we're experiencing with
Okay.
right now. And that could be YouTube ads. If someone is familiarized with or comfortable in front of the
Hmm.
camera, basically, we do
Yep.
that. It's YouTube ads, Google ads, it's Facebook
Hmm.
ads, Instagram ads.
Oh,
And that's kind
wow.
of our main pillars that we're using for the lead generation part. And then from there on out, once the leads come in, usually you'll have an agent or someone else call the leads the entire day and have their phone basically
Right, ringing.
phones
Yeah,
calling,
exactly.
right? So what we've done is I have an entire team, also US based and also Dutch based.
Okay.
For the US based people, we have an ISA, so that those are inside sales agents, basically making sure that every lead that comes through, which is first and foremost exclusive to the agent themselves because it's their platform, right? It's the social platform.
So they're like basically logging into like your Facebook or YouTube channel or whatever and getting the leads.
So it's basically all automated. It's basically all automated. So they come in, the leads come in, they don't get sent to the agent until they've been contacted by our ISA team.
Oh, and then got it.
Right.
So the ISA is not like in your Facebook, like
no.
Okay.
No. So we have a dedicated person who is managing all the campaigns for the leads. So the leads come through. And then from there on out, once the leads come through, they get an automated message, the ISA, that a new lead has come. Okay. And from there on out, they pick them up, completely qualify them. Have you been pre-approved? Have you looked at what kind of areas are you looking in? Or do you already have a realtor? Have you already talked with someone? What's a timeline that you're looking to buy a house or sell a house? Then they qualify them completely. And once they're qualified, they either contact the agent that we're working with to give them a live transfer in the sense of what we call that. So that's transferring the lead live. Or book the appointment for the agent. So the only thing that they need to do is pick up the phone and be ready to handle the sale. That's basically the entire thing that you need to do. And from there on out, it's all automated.
Is it mostly buyer leads or is it also seller leads?
Both. It's both. So we're doing seller leads, buyer leads. We're doing foreclosures. I think foreclosures, especially looking at kind of the low inventory that most states are basically in right now with the high buyer demand. Next year, I see that there are going to be a lot of foreclosures. With how the market is going. I don't know what your view is on
I mean, I agree. And we think that there's going to be more short sales and foreclosures and things like that. Exactly. We're also, do you guys do circle prospecting or neighborhood calling as well? Or you're just doing it off the ads?
No, so basically for most it's just off the ads, but for some, that are really specific in their market, we always adjust our services to those agents and their needs. Okay. Right? Got it. So yeah. And then from there on out, basically it's all automated, all the campaigns basically set up. And we try to work around, especially with these situations, we're really flexible with the things that we're doing. Always looking at how we can help more people instead of just cashing in or you're sending a bunch of leads and that's basically it.
Yeah.
So looking at
so what are the numbers? Like how many, how much are people spending for the service? What are the results that they're getting?
Sure. Great question. So basically it, in terms of the service, it always depends on what the specific needs are of the agent and how many transactions they're doing currently at this month. So we have starting agents basically that have done 1 to 5 transactions for the entire year. And we have other agents that are already doing, upwards to, 30, 40, 50 transactions per year, right? So that's a completely different ballpark. So we have specific programs based upon what they're paying, but usually we're doing a per lead kind of amount. So that is usually $25 per lead. And within that budget, you have the ad
because
spend.
that's how the ads are like set up, right? Like you have to put in the budget and they tell you like how many leads you can expect. Okay, so that's just like more of a Facebook
techie, nerdy kind of thing. Yes. So that's kind of the marketing side of things. So we basically have within that price of $25 to $30 per lead, basically we have different packages with different lead prices. Okay. And then from there on out, you have, let's say for example, for that $25 per lead, you're paying $5 for the ad spend, right? $5 for the ISA, $5 for the person making sure your account is being held up to par basically, and then $5 for the CRM creation and everything else that we do. So it's kind of the complete package, taking everything into our own hands basically. Okay. That makes sense.
And then how many leads, let's talk about like your average or your ideal client. There's somebody that does how many deals? What's like, do you prefer like kind of the newer ones, or do you prefer people that are doing like more than 2 deals a month, or what's ideal?
Yeah, so honestly, I love working with everyone. Like I said, that's the reason why I became a licensed realtor myself. I love the space, and now I'm looking to do my own stuff basically here with investments and everything else, right? Yeah. So we do have kind of an ideal kind of client basically, which is, someone at least doing one home per month basically. So they do have the budget to invest. And if
Okay.
they don't have the budget, that's not the end of the world. We always have a workaround basically with different programs on how we can make it a win-win basically for both sides. For me, the relationship is more important than just having the specific
So how
programs.
many leads are they? So if you have an agent that's doing like say one deal a month, so 12 a year or whatever,
Sure.
they come and they invest with you. And then what are they getting that one deal a month like from like will it basically double their what
Yeah.
they're doing? Okay.
Yeah. So to give you an overview on internet leads, it's basically usually it's high quantity, but I always say the quality is in the quantity. If you're
Right.
getting, we're doing usually a minimum of 100 leads per month.
Okay.
So that's 100 leads per month that you're getting. They're exclusive to you that all get qualified. Now,
Okay.
of those 100 people, usually, let's say, for example, 95 of them are not looking to buy or sell right now, which is
Right.
normal, right? Those are internet leads, but they
Yeah.
are looking to buy to sell, and they are going to be looking for a realtor in 1 month, 3 months, 6 months,
Yeah.
9 months, 12
Right.
months. So it's the nurturing and the follow-up that's more important.
Yeah.
Getting the leads is not the difficult part. It's more the
It's a
difficult
lead
part of nurturing.
follow-up. Yeah.
Right.
So you
Right.
guys are taking care of all that. You're setting all that. But in that example, let's say if it's $25 a lead, right? And you're getting 100 leads, that's $2,500. Yes?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
But
Yes.
then you, so they just pay that when the lead comes in, but let's say the lead's not ready for 3 more months. Like they don't, you're nurturing it the whole time. You're setting up drip campaigns, making calls, things like that until they're ready, right?
It's basically a complete follow-up nurturing system,
Mm-hmm.
basically for upwards to 12 months. That's included the
Okay.
ISA, and that's included the drip campaigns, the CRM,
Nice.
us following up with them and having the conversations with them.
Sure.
Right? So
Yeah.
it's basically everything, right?
Yeah,
And to
yeah,
get
yeah,
one
yeah.
transaction in most states, for example, you know, depending on the commissions, of course, you're in Ohio, right? I
Yes.
think you said.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on what state you're in and what kind of area you're in, depending on the commissions and with the brokerage, of course, what kind of
Yeah.
splits you're doing, it depends on what kind of commission you're getting. But
Yeah.
usually, let's say, for example, you get one transaction out of that, which, like I said, 95 leads of those 100 are probably not going to convert. But let's say we get an appointment with 5 of those.
Okay.
And you're able to close 1 or 2 usually.
I mean, if you get
That's
an
what
appointment
happens.
with 5, that's a lot because like online leads are usually like 1 or if you get 2%, that's a lot, which in that case would be 2.
Correct.
So 5
Yes.
would be a ton.
Yeah. So like I said, that's in terms of the live transfers that we're making to the agents. We're usually experiencing with 100 leads, 5 to 7 live transfers.
Yeah.
And when someone has already spoken with someone, I also in the Netherlands here with the agents that I'm working with and the things that I've been doing here, is you notice that you gotta have multiple touch points. But if you're the first one to make them comfortable and let them know, hey, I'm Jennifer. I've worked with over a dozen different people basically that have the same needs as yourself, and I can provide you with information about them.
Right.
Then they don't have any doubts. Basically.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, you're right. Like having where we as agents drop the ball the most is on that lead follow-up, is on that like nurture system. So having that, and we always like, I feel like we're constantly trying to automate it, and it's like never quite gets right. Like I don't know anybody that's like, my CRM system is like on point. I do it perfectly every time. Like we're just doing so many other things, you know? So that's the value there, is nurturing those leads and not letting them drop.
Oh, for sure. Completely agree. And the thing is, there are just so many people screaming and yelling. I don't know how it is with yourself, but I'm even getting a lot of people, you know, shouting at me, you got to try this, you got to do this, you got to do this.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of noises. And sometimes you got to see, okay, what is this person providing in terms of results for his clients?
Right.
Our clients are getting really, really good results, right? So it's a matter of like kind of looking through the things that are not working and the people that are doing a good job, because there are so many things even from our brokerages basically that are giving us the tools and everything else. But usually it's mostly it's outdated from what I've seen basically. But in some instances it is kind of up to date basically. But in most instances is this system basically that we've created, which is continuously tweaked, continuously adjusted to the agents. And for myself also being, you know, an agent who is, you know, just got his license and just starting out over here, it's really important that you not only have eyes on the price basically, but also the eyes on the other things, and make sure that you have either someone who is doing it for you, or that you perhaps learn it yourself so you can put that time into good use and have that for the long term. if you don't want to invest in third parties.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways to be successful, right? Like that's
Sure.
what our podcast
Sure.
is all about. So it's
Yeah.
just a matter of like, to your point, if you're going to pay for leads, which many people do, right?
Yeah.
It's like, we'll just compare it to like, say, Zillow leads or something. Those
Sure.
are leads that you as the agent would have to pay for. You would have to follow up with them. You would have to nurture them. You'd have to do all this stuff. And something like what you do could be a better investment. You're going to get more of a return potentially and have a much less headache.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, like it's we've worked with people who are also doing Zillow and also doing this, and we just noticed that the cost for those leads is really, really
Really
high.
high.
And the
Right.
return on investment, and you gotta be
Is
on them like
like
within
crazy. Well,
10
that's all
seconds.
internet leads, right? So if that's an avenue that you're going to go, to your point,
Yeah,
look at all the places that provide that, or pick like your
sure.
top three, and then really dive into the results and say, okay, what are you really getting? Like what can really be delivered and promised, and what is the spend?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if people are looking for homes, I usually say like, what's the first place that they go to? It's usually social media. It's Google,
Yeah.
right? They're looking at different things on Google, basically.
Right.
Right? They might get Zillow, Realtor.com, or something else,
But
but
they
they
start
are
with the
looking.
search.
It's
Yeah.
not the search, right? So if you
Yeah.
can be in your area at the top of that list, which is
Right.
something we also focus on, then you're already miles ahead of different agents in your area.
Also, you're helping agents to like kind of optimize where they come up on the searches, or is that just from the ads?
Oh no, for sure. Like honestly, for me, Jennifer, basically the first main thing is if someone is saying like, depends on what stage you're in, but let's say for example, one home per month, basically in this instance, I always say the most important thing right now is for you to get closings. And the way for you to get closings is to get basically appointments.
Yep.
And for the way to you to get appointments is to have your lead and your database completely full and packed with people that want to do business with you.
Yes,
you don't have
exactly.
that, you're going to lose.
Then you don't, yeah, you're going to starve.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So it starts from there on out and setting up an offer for people to engage with. And then from there on out, we work on, I call it, I see it as a funnel, basically. Also for the real estate space, but also for this space. It's top of the funnel things where you want to build awareness, you want to build interest so people get to know you. A lot of top national realtors are doing that, posting a lot of content, but engaging content with people.
Right.
And then bottom of the funnel, which is what we usually start with, which is an offer. That could be a listing, right, that you have, which is interesting. Or if you don't have a listing from someone in your brokerage, so you can be a buyer's agent in that instance. Have homes lists that you're sending people to your website. And that all needs to be together. It needs to be a cohesive partnership.
Just like a flow.
Like a flow for everything. Because if we're just going to run ads, your website needs to be on point. It cannot be a old school website or anything else. We need to make it up to date and make everything set up. So it's an entire process.
So you it sounds like you look at the business and say, okay, what is the end goal? And then you look and say, what would happen to this lead? Like, let's do the life of the lead. If we're going to offer something, let's make sure that when they come in and see it, that it's cohesive.
Of course. I mean, you can imagine if someone is looking for a home, like the first thing that they're looking for is trust. And the place that starts is online. They can not even see you, but they can see that you have posted a picture of people that are looking for the same thing as they are.
Right.
And they will mutually get like a feeling, all right, I can trust this person. And when they contact you, they'll say, hey, Jennifer, I already saw a lot of things of you. So I already have the trust with you. So yes, of course, it's the complete package. And because if one thing isn't okay, they'll find something. It needs to be professional. It needs to be good. And from there, you can build something upon it.
That's awesome. Well, if people want to find out more, they want to get a hold of you, what is the best way to do that?
Sure. So I have all social media profiles are my name.
I would assume you did, Stefan.
My name is not the easiest, but it's Stefan and then Andjelovic. So I don't know, perhaps... I don't know, it will be somewhere here. I don't know. Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. We also have a YouTube channel providing some more content and everything else. We just started that, but we're building it up slowly. And then from there on out, that's...
well, and if people are friends with me, they'll see you in the friends list. So that's another way too. But yeah, we'll get your name in there.
Yes. Amazing. Amazing.
Well, I appreciate you being on. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you having me. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.